I never expected that a community college degree in creative writing would somehow evolve into me being out in the real world solving mysteries. I mean, I was guessing that with an artistic major like mine, I'd probably end up working out of my field. But at a place like a fast food restaurant, or maybe a department store, if I was lucky. But life has always been known for throwing curveballs, I suppose, and who knew they'd actually be worth writing about? An average writer with above-average detective skills, critics called me. I ignored the blatant jab at my writing ability to relish in the fact that something I had written had actual critics. My writing had made it through the never-ending stack of submissions to independent literary journals and other various obscure magazines, and was now being read and talked about by other human beings. To my own surprise, however, the biggest source of my excitement wasn't my first success as an author, but as a detective. No one believed me when I said that Mrs. Jenkins' death wasn't what it seemed. Even someone who talked to the neighbors as little as I did would have known her well enough to confirm that she had no living family members. She would wistfully mention the lack thereof during the awkward conversations initiated by accidental eye contact while picking up our mail. So when her body was found with a currently dated letter from the brother I knew to have been dead for 5 years, I knew something was off. It was all a bit too involved of an adventure to actually get into right now. Long story short, I searched some records, talked to a few of her friends, broke into her apartment, and eventually had enough evidence to prove my theory. Turns out, the angry letter from her brother and the very suspicious gunshot wound to her head were just post-mortem attempts at staging a murder. In reality, the sushi chef at a struggling restaurant downtown prepared some pufferfish incorrectly, and the toxins were enough to kill the poor woman. Rather than deal with the consequences brought on by the health inspectors, they made up a motive and set up a scene in an alleyway. Definitely creative. Fast forward to yesterday afternoon, I received a completely unexpected phone call. A small police force in the town of Carlisle, Connecticut, who knows how, had read my publication and tracked down my number. They're apparently in over their heads with some kind of unusual case, and wanted to find someone who could give a second opinion on everything that's been happening there during the past week. Based on how small their force is, and how sleepy their town sounds, it's my best guess that they don't normally have much crime to deal with, and this might be a bit out of their wheelhouse. To be fair, it's also a bit out of my wheelhouse, but they sounded pretty desperate on the phone. They'd have to be, and wanted to fly me there as quickly as possible. I don't know anything about the case, but they promised to fill me in once I arrive and get settled. Hopefully they realize I don't really know what I'm doing. But hey, that makes for a much more interesting story for the readers. So here I am, about to embark on my very first official case. I have a feeling that I have no idea what I've gotten myself into. Hello?
Hello, Miss Pendrick. This is Sergeant Russell. I'm going to be your contact down at the Carlisle Police Department during your stay here. Glad to see you had no problem finding your accommodation, and I hope you've had some time to get acquainted with the place.
I'm happy to hear from you, Sergeant. I've been speculating about this case all day. The suspense is killing me. Ooh, sorry. No pun intended.
Fortunately, from what we can tell, your unintended pun does not apply. Yet. But we do need to move quickly to make sure it stays that way. To put it mildly, the past week has been overwhelming. 3 people gone missing, one right after the other. Only a couple days in between each. Our entire department is 3 people, for crying out loud. We're not equipped to handle something like this. What we're equipped for is either graffiti related or have to deal with noise ordinance.
3 people in a week? All in this little town?
We've never seen anything like it. The worst part is that there's so many unknowns. Our gut is telling us that these disappearances are connected. You'd think they have to be, right? But try explaining that to the county chief. Without concrete proof, he just sees this all as a whole lot of coincidence, and potentially not even a crime. We're getting no outside help with this, no matter how much we beg.
Ah, okay. Well, that answers why you brought me up here, rather than literally any cop in the state. That one was the real mystery.
Desperate times calls for desperate measures, they say. No offense.
None taken, trust me.
Officer Vasquez was the one that read your publication. He relayed it to me afterwards, and we all agreed that you seemed to have some pretty solid intuition. It was his idea to reach out. Anyway, let's get down to business. I'll be sending you some documents that we...
Huh?
Unauthorized call time expended. Please enter 4-digit PIN to continue to use line.
Hello?
Take a hint!
Do you have a second?
Fine. What? Who even are you? Actually, you know what? Don't tell me. You've already wasted enough of my time.
It's nice to meet you, too.
Well, spit it out. What do you want?
I just moved into the room next door, and
My condolences. To both me and you.
I was kicked off the landline. It's asking for some kind of PIN to activate it again.
If I tell you how that thing works, can we agree that this door is now permanently off limits?
You don't need to ask me twice.
Now you're getting me. The phone code is 9, followed by your room number.
Thank you. There's no way I would have guessed that on my own.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I never caught your name.
Did I drop it?
That exchange really brightened up my day.
Unauthorized call time expended. Please enter 4-digit PIN to continue to use line. Caller authorized.
Weird.
Police Department, Sergeant Russell speaking.
Hi, Sergeant. It's Penelope again.
Penelope! We got a guy here who bet you were already hightailing it back to Virginia. Zimmerman, you owe me 20.
Not quite yet, although I'll probably end up questioning that decision. Sorry about that, by the way. Getting cut off like that. The landline here is a little funky.
You're back, and that's all that matters. Now, What had I been saying?
Something about documents, I think?
Yes, right. Missing person reports we have filled out for the individuals. I'll be sending you some copies soon, so look out for that.
These 3 people that went missing, what can you tell me about them?
The first call we received concerned Mr. Gerald Cook. He's an older gentleman, late 60s, who owns a bookstore on Main Street. The second, more concerning call was from Mrs. Eileen Davies, in reference to her son Terrence. The boy had apparently not come home after school that day. He's only 15, which has really started to raise some red flags. Then, only 2 days after that, a third person was called in. The caller couldn't provide a name for the woman, only said that she's been coming to a specific diner for breakfast at 9 a.m. sharp every single day for years. This was the 3rd day in a row she hadn't shown, and the caller found this to be very out of character.
Can you tell me more about Gerald Cook?
Never met the man personally, but I had heard his name prior to all this. His bookstore, Novel Books, is a bit of a hub in this part of town. The place is practically a rec center for the entire population of Carlisle over the age of 65. In fact, it was one of those old timers that made the call at the crack of dawn to tell us that Gerald had to open up shop as usual and was nowhere to be found.
I take it Gerald is normally very punctual?
Doesn't sound like the type to take spontaneous sick days, if that's what you mean. If interviewing the regulars told us one thing, it's that Gerald has never pulled a stunt like this in all his days of working there. That day we went out and interviewed maybe 20 or so people, and Vasquez canvassed the place once we got inside. Nothing. The place was pristine. Cash register locked. Interviewees all giving the same story.
How did you end up getting inside?
There was a guy hanging around there. Michael something? Nobody asked you! Yeah, Mitchell Hart. Said he had a spare key. Seemed to know Gerald well. We talked to him for a while, but he didn't really say anything that everyone else hadn't told us already. He took us to Gerald's apartment, right above the store, but when we knocked, there was no answer.
I wonder if anyone else has a key besides this Mitchell guy. Maybe Gerald was mugged and someone pickpocketed him.
It'd be right out of the ne'er-do-well's playbook. Mug an old guy in an alley, steal his keys, rob his place, then lock up on the way out. That's why right now, our first priority is to get into that cash register. If money is missing, that'll simplify everything and give us a little direction, for Gerald's case at least. The address of Gerald's bookstore is 225 Main Street. Go take a look around for yourself.
Can you tell me more about Terrence Davies?
Terrence just turned 15 a few months ago. If he was any younger, all the cops in the county would be swarming around this case like flies to rotten lunch meat. He's right at the age where the chief can shrug his disappearance off as a rebellious kid doing rebellious kid things.
Does Terrence have any history of running away or causing trouble?
Not according to his mother, at least not according to what we could piece together through the tears. Either way, we suspect she views her son through some rose-colored glasses, because interviews from fellow students and teachers at his high school painted a slightly different picture of him.
Does he get into trouble at school?
It sounds like he's mellowed out some now that he started high school. He holds quite the impressive record for previous years, but his current teachers just described him as some disruptive class clown type, not some menace to society.
What exactly has he done?
You name it. He had a rebellious streak in middle school according to the school documents, suspended multiple times, never hurt anyone or anything like that, but played hooky a lot. Pulled the fire alarm once and also called a fake bomb threat in as a joke in the 7th grade.
Okay, then. I can kinda see where the chief is coming from.
But even if Terrence is just falling back into old habits, we still need to track him down for his mother's sanity. And by extension, ours.
Well, when and where was Terrence last seen?
Teachers, classmates, and friends all said he left school at 3 p.m. with the rest of the kids. He told his friends he was going hiking, which they said was a regular thing he'd do. No one has heard from him since.
Did anyone say where he normally hikes?
No, there are hundreds of trails around this area, not to mention the woods and cliffs. He could have gone anywhere that day.
What's his family life like?
It's just him and Mrs. Davies. No siblings, no father in the picture. Explains why she's so attached.
Could you tell if there was any strain in their relationship?
Who knows? From the sound of it, they spend more time together than an average mother and teenage son duo. But can't see under the surface. We'll get you in contact with Mrs. Davies. Once she calms down a bit, I'm sure she'll give us more to work with. Not sure how much luck you'll have with her, but feel free to give her a call. Phone number is 203-555-0927.
Can you tell me more about the diner woman?
Yes, Jane Dell. I wanted to call her Victim X. I thought it was catchy. But protocol. She's our shakiest case by far. Called in missing by a waitress just because she decided not to get breakfast at the Sunrise Diner for a couple mornings? No wonder the chief won't give us the time of day.
But the waitress thought she had good enough reason to notify the police. So there must be something to it.
It's true that she's genuinely concerned. Said that the very few times Jane didn't show over the past couple years, she leave little notes on napkins with the tip the day before. Not this time.
Notes? She didn't just tell them?
The waitress describes Jane as an incredibly quiet, solitary woman. Said when Jane first started eating there, she thought Jane was deaf, but no, just quiet.
Well, if she was really that reclusive, that would explain why nobody knows anything about her.
There's our problem. Jane would only speak to order and say pleases and thank yous. She didn't sit around chatting up the help for hours.
If she wasn't there to hang out with the waitresses, what did she do every single morning?
Read books, lots of them. And not just the type with shirtless cowboys on the cover, but books with real substance, textbooks even, and all subjects, especially history. The waitresses said that Jane would set up every day in the same booth, take a few books out of her bag, and read and take notes while she ate.
Interesting. I wonder if doing this was work-related or a hobby. What did you investigate, and who did you interview in regards to Jane?
What can we investigate? No one knows her name, address, place of work, family, acquaintances. We examined her favorite booth at the diner and interviewed everyone who works there. All we know is that she's been coming there for roughly 3 years, is quiet, reads a lot, and has tried everything on the menu.
None of the workers said she was acting differently the last day she was seen?
No one was paying enough attention to remember. But one of the waitresses did hold on to what's currently our shred of evidence, a napkin with some chicken scratch. She was planning to return it to Jane the next day, but you know how that story ends.
Did she frequent any other locations besides the diner?
My only guess would be a library. Owning all those books would cost an arm and a leg. Thing is, Carlisle doesn't have its own library, and there are too many to count in neighboring towns.
Wow, this is like trying to track down a ghost.
You're telling me. All I can say is keep an eye open while you're investigating the other two. That's the best we can do right now. I'll send the napkin along with the other documents. So, Penelope, now that you know more about what we're dealing with here, what's going on through your head?
I think the disappearances are related. In a town this small, with barely any history of crime, it just seems too unusual to just be coincidence. Even if we don't see any links between the victims yet, once we dig deeper, I'm fairly certain we will.
Interesting hypothesis. We'll see if it holds up. But first things first, keep an eye out for those reports we'll be sending.
Thanks, Sergeant. I guess it's time for me to get out there and start playing detective.
Good luck. Call us anytime. And thanks again for coming up here. Having a new nose around to sniff out leads might be exactly what we need.
Terrence, is that you?
I'm sorry. Mrs. Davies?
Oh, yes, this is she.
My name is Penelope Pendrick. I'm working with the Carlisle police to help find your son. Would you have a moment to answer a few questions?
Again? All right.
Can you please describe the entire day he went missing in detail? From morning to evening.
Let's see. I got up at 6:30 as usual and started making breakfast. Terrence sets his alarm for 7 and ate quickly after he got up. He had me sign a permission slip for some field trip, and then he gathered all his school supplies and left. I just keep playing that over and over in my head and hating myself for it. I left work at 5, and he was out when I arrived back, which isn't too abnormal, but when he wasn't home an hour later, I started calling around to his friends' moms. He wasn't over anyone else's house. Then it got dark, and he still wasn't home. That's when I called the police.
Thank you for sharing this with me. I'm sure it's not easy to think about. Now, you mentioned a field trip. Can you tell me more about that?
It was for his art class, a gallery that they were going to tour that day, not far from here.
Do you remember the name of the gallery?
Something pretentious. Bold decisions, bold and brash. I have the paper around here somewhere. That's right. Bold depictions. 3297 Ocala Street, Oakford, Connecticut.
Thank you. It could be a start.
If you say so.
I heard that Terrence told his friends he was going hiking after school was out. Do you know of anywhere in particular he likes to go?
It could have been anywhere. That boy's practically explored the entire state.
Could he have gotten lost or hurt somewhere in the woods?
No! No, impossible. He was a Boy Scout for years, and he's even taken courses on outdoor survival. This kind of thing is what he lives for.
I have no doubt he's very competent, Mrs. Davies, but sometimes things can happen that are out of a person's control.
I said it's impossible. I know my son.
All right. I'm sorry I came off as implying otherwise. Did anyone mention anything else out of the ordinary that happened at school that day?
No. I don't think so. You know what? I need to go. I can't do this anymore. It's too much. Thinking about that day, it's too much.
Eileen? Are you there? Oh, poor lady. This could come in handy. Looks like no one is using this right now. Something about this shopping list is unusual. I'd better hold on to it. That's it. Sorry, Joe.
Excuse me? Miss, I think you might have the wrong address.
Thanks for your concern. But no, this is.
Sorry, let me rephrase. Bookstores, generally speaking, are for those who can read.
What?
The front door. There is a sign that states in perfect English that this store is closed.
Interesting observation from a guy sitting alone in a closed store.
Touché.
My name is Penelope Pendrick, and I was sent over by the Carlisle police to do some further investigation on the disappearance of Gerald Cook.
I apologize for doubting your ethics and literacy. The name's Mitchell. Under usual circumstances, I helped Gerald run novel books, but now I'm useless.
Mitchell Hart. The sergeant mentioned you to me. You have a key to the store, correct? Logically, that would make you a prime suspect.
Listen here, girl. No, that's fair. If I were in your shoes, I'd be thinking the same thing.
Can you describe to me the last time you saw Gerald that day?
Like I told the cops, it was a completely normal day. I was sitting here for an hour or so before closing time, and then at 7 o'clock to help corral any stragglers out of the store. I said goodnight to Gerald, who was doing the usual nightly organizing and pencil pushing, and headed home.
So he wasn't acting unusually in any way?
Not at all. Albeit the store was having a busy streak, which kept Gerald pretty occupied. So no downtime to shoot the breeze.
Okay. Thanks for the information. Would you mind if I asked you some more questions?
Ask away.
What do you usually do to help Gerald run the store?
Sit in this corner all day? Not even kidding. If a customer has a question on where to find something, I locate it for them on the shelves. I also give suggestions of good reads based on what kind of genres they're looking for. Classics, thrillers, historical fictions, how-tos, you name it.
Do you have a job besides this? It sounds like you spend a lot of time here.
Technically speaking, I work in an insurance agency, but the past few months they've been cutting my hours. I used to spend time here to relax after work, but when my job situation started to go downhill, Gerald offered to take me on as a part-time employee.
Wow, that's really generous of him.
Gerald's just a genuinely good-hearted person, who are unfortunately becoming a dying breed.
You mentioned the store being busy the day Gerald disappeared. Abnormally busy?
You'd be surprised how much traffic this place gets. A day like that happens at least twice a week.
Gerald sounds like a real business mastermind running such a successful little mom-and-pop shop.
I wish he were here. He'd get a kick out of being called a business mastermind. He's not a businessman at heart, but he's got a way of making everyone feel like family. It's like he runs a community center, not a bookstore.
Has Gerald ever gone on a spontaneous vacation or trip?
The man is the antithesis of spontaneity. I've known him around 5 years, and he's never left the store out of the blue like this.
Would it be okay if I took a look around?
Go right ahead. The cop here only did a quick walkthrough. Didn't seem very thorough.
The day Gerald went missing, what did you do that evening after you went home at 7 p.m.?
Probably thawed some frozen dinner and watched TV. The new episode of Crypt Diggers would have been on at 8, and then I normally go to bed at 11.
Thanks for talking.
Never a problem.
famous artist visiting a very not famous town for such a long time is pretty unusual. Gerald seems very interested in this. Well, looks like we can rule out a robbery. This little Ginny gal is pretty smart.
Everything okay? You look a little grim.
Did you notice that Gerald's coat is still here?
Sure, but it's been unseasonably warm. Not really coat weather.
Well, it's not the coat I'm worried about. It's that his wallet is still in the pocket, with money and his driver's license.
Oh,
I took a look inside the cash register. Whatever happened to Gerald didn't involve a robbery.
are you saying that someone out there targeted Gerald because of some personal vendetta? That's insane. That'd be like going after Santa Claus.
We don't know that at all. We've only just ruled out one possibility.
Well, this isn't great news.
I'm sorry. Try and stay positive, okay? There's still so much we don't know. There could still be a perfectly innocent explanation to all this.
Welcome to Bold Depictions, miss. Can I offer information on a particular piece, or provide a guided walkthrough?
Thank you. Maybe some other time. I'm actually here on behalf of the Carlisle Police. Would I be able to speak to the owner of this gallery?
Oh, yes. You're looking at him. Colin Ellison. Pleasure to meet you. How can I help?
I'm Penelope Pendrick. I'm sure you've heard of the investigation of the recent disappearances here in Carlisle. I have reason to believe that one of the 3 missing people was here the same day he disappeared.
Yeah. And?
Wait, you're aware of this?
As a proud TV owner, it's hard to ignore. I know they're starved for content, but come on. Let me watch the local weather in peace.
So you knew you met Terrence Davies a few hours before he went missing? Well, did you go to the police when you recognized him on the news?
And tell them what? Hey guys, I have some case-breaking info for you. I've seen that kid before. You're welcome.
Can you describe in detail your account of the field trip from start to finish?
Right. Yeah, so the kids and their art teacher were busting at 1. There were about 10 of them total. 9th grade, I think. I started by introducing myself and giving some background on my credentials. Everything was going dandy. They were mostly all paying attention. I led them to the painting closest to the front door, and then went around the room from there, explaining my process, the decisions behind the composition, the deeper meaning, the medium used, and so on, for every piece. After we were going for 15, 20 minutes, a few kids in the back started snickering and whispering to each other. Super irritating. Then, one of those kids raised his hand, so I made the mistake of thinking he had a legitimate question. I called on him, and he was like,
Sir, I was wondering, why do all your paintings suck?
All his brain-dead friends laughed, and the teacher yelled at him, which shut him up, but not long enough. I tried to be professional, but a little while later he was drawing something on an index card. He started throwing little pieces of paper with tomato drawings at me, and his spineless excuse of a teacher didn't even do anything about it. Finally, after his friends started doing it too, the teacher decided to just end the whole trip and take them back to the school.
Okay, you have to admit the tomato thing is kind of funny. Sure, it was frustrating in the moment, but kids do dumb things like that all the time. It's normal.
Looks like the police hired a literal 10-year-old to solve their case. What else do you think is funny? Toilets? Boogers?
All I'm saying is that you should take all this with a grain of salt. They're just goofing around, not attacking you personally.
That's easy coming from someone who clearly hasn't poured their heart and soul into anything. You haven't spent years and thousands of dollars to learn about every aspect of a trade. I try and paint pieces that give others something to admire and wonder about. So, yeah, when people insult something you've put your whole life into, it's a little hard not to take it personally. When I saw his snotty face on the news later that day, not gonna lie, felt kind of cathartic.
So, the official statement for the police is that you had a bad encounter with Terrence. Later that day, he goes missing. And then when the news comes on that evening, you, grab a bag of popcorn and smile? Do I have that right?
Oh, lighten up. I meant metaphorically. I'm sure he's fine. Probably just causing chaos somewhere else for now.
I should go.
Aw, what? Forgot your handcuffs?
Carlisle Police Department, Sergeant Russell speaking.
I opened the novel book's cash register. It was still full. And to top it off, Gerald's coat and wallet are still in the store.
What? Oh, Vasquez! You need your eyes checked. Remind me to assign you to interviews next time. Good work. Whatever happened to Gerald was not premeditated on his end. It's a start.
I went to Novel Books and met Mitchell Hart.
Great. What are your thoughts?
A quaint little store. Certainly doesn't look like a crime scene. As for Mitchell, I feel like there must be more he's not disclosing to us. I don't know, I just wonder if there's more to him than meets the eye.
Let me know if you find any solid context to back this up. But until then, I'm not ready to pass judgment based on a feeling.
I got to chat with Eileen Davies. She was only willing to talk for so long, but I did learn that Terrence attended a field trip to an art gallery the day he went missing. She gave me the address, so I went to check it out, and oh boy.
Did something happen?
I met the owner, Colin Ellison, and asked him about the field trip. According to him, Terrence was kind of a terror during the tour. Colin was generally spitting venom while he recounted what happened. And to put the cherry on top, he described seeing Terrence on the news later that day as cathartic.
That's concerning. Did you get the impression that Colin could be physically violent when angry? Or is he more bark and no bite?
I wouldn't be surprised if he would physically hurt someone who he thinks wronged him. He seems to hold a lot of hate over little things.
Either way, keep an eye on him and see if you can find out more.
Thanks for talking.
Keep doing what you're doing, Penelope.
Hello?
Hi, Mrs. Davies. It's Penelope again. How are you holding up?
As well as can be expected.
I was wondering, did you receive any phone calls from Terrence's school the day of the field trip? Before it was clear that he was missing.
No, but I would have been at work until 5, so it's possible I missed it. Why?
I had a chance to talk to the owner of the art gallery, the one who gave the tour, and there'd been an incident.
Oh, really? What happened?
Long story short, Terrence was playing the peanut gallery during the tour. Having his art mocked kind of rubbed the owner, Colin Ellison, the wrong way.
That's not an incident, just a teenager being a teenager.
Well, the phrasing isn't important. I just felt the obligation to let you know that Mr. Ellison does not have a kind opinion of your son.
He was that angry about Terrence.
Between that and the coincidental timing, I think we may have our first suspect.
Well, thank you for letting me know. I can't say it's consoling, but it's something.
Okay, Eileen. Thank you for your time. I'll call you if we find out anything new.
Okay.
Any news?
Nothing yet. How was Gerald's health? Physical and mental.
I don't know what drug he's on, but that man has energy. I'm jealous, and I'm 25 years younger than him. I do see him eat kale chips with his lunch, though, so maybe not that jealous.
What about his mental health?
Nothing has ever raised any red flags. Although his generation isn't much for talking about those kinds of things. You know, feelings.
What exactly is your relationship to Gerald? Are you close personally or more like business partners?
As close as two heterosexual men can get. During slow hours, we chat about books, current events, politics, conspiracy theories, sports, movies. The list goes on. Oh, and gossip about old man drama. Carl always cheats at chess and thinks no one is onto him. Everyone is onto him.
Do you ever talk about your personal lives?
Not really. So like I said, as close as two heterosexual men can get. I don't have a personal life to share anyway. But Gerald, he has an entire lifetime behind him. I'll admit I've always been curious about his past.
Does Gerald have any family? There was a picture of his granddaughters in his wallet.
Really? I always wondered if he had kids out there somewhere.
He never mentioned his family to you? That seems odd.
Maybe to us, but Gerald's naturally a very private person. Not in an intentional hiding information kind of way. He just steers away from topics like that. Why? I don't know, but I respect his privacy.
I wish there was a way we could let his family know what's going on.
The number of cooks in the United States is probably enough to fill 3 phone books alone. Not to mention married names.
Did the police check Gerald's home address?
He lives directly upstairs. I took them to the door, but that was the best I could do. They knocked a few times, got ladders, and looked through the windows from the outside. They had a pretty good view of the main apartment and the bathroom. From what they could see, there was no sign of him.
Can they get a warrant if they think there's a chance a person inside might need help?
No idea. But a busted door without appropriate justification sounds like a nasty lawsuit waiting to happen.
Thanks for talking.
Never a problem.
I know it's early, but I could really go for some sleep. I'll get back to work tomorrow.
Penelope. Sergeant Russell here. Thought I'd check in so we can regroup.
Alrighty.
It's looking less and less likely that Gerald disappeared voluntarily, and his store was not robbed. Mitchell Hart admits that he doesn't know as much about Gerald's life as we had hoped. And then there's Terrace, who tends to get under some people's skin. Some people being Colin Ellison, who had his run-in with Terrace a few hours before the boy went missing.
Right. And still nothing on Jane Doe. Except the napkin.
I'll eat my hat if we find any leads on her this whole case.
Did you check the coordinates that she had written down?
It put us in a spot in Town Center Square. There's the statue of the founder, a trash can, a bench, a manhole, a street lamp, and some shops at the Southwest Plaza Shopping Center. We asked around some of the shops, but no one remembers anyone with her description.
Huh. Do you think she was looking for something?
A logbook and some trinkets? It just looks like geocaching to me.
Could be. But what I'm stuck on is that the three really don't have anything in common. A nice man who owns a bookstore, a troublemaking kid, and a woman who talks to nobody. Maybe this case is all coincidence after all.
They got us from day one. Carlisle's the one and only link between them. But where does that get us? It's not like it's a city with recurring crime hotspots to watch.
The town. That's a great point. Since Carlisle isn't exactly dangerous, I wonder if there's something else unusual about the town that links them. I don't know. I'm just spitballing. As I'm going around doing detective things, I'll try to learn more about Carlisle. Oh, and what you said earlier? I'm gonna hold you to that, by the way.
Hold me to what?
I'd very much like to see a hat get eaten, if I can get a lead on Jane Doe.
If that's what motivates you, it's a deal.
You've reached the phone of John. I'm so...
What, can't figure out the fridge now?
Unless it has an activation code, I've got it. Thanks. I'm Penelope, by the way. I'm only in town temporarily to help out the police with this case they're dealing with. I think we got off on the wrong foot.
Yeah, sorry for biting your head off the other day. One of those days, you know? But man, if I hear one more person talk about these disappearances, I'm gonna start bleeding from the ears.
No worries. I've got some tissues right here.
You're lucky. You caught me at a good time. I'd actually prefer talking to you right now than starting my 5th straight hour of schoolwork.
I'm flattered. What do you know about the disappearances? Have you heard anything interesting from people around town?
Interesting is a strong word. Kids around school either talk about this like it's bad reality TV or that there's some huge conspiracy involved. It's just bored people with overactive imaginations.
Reality TV?
Soap opera would be a better word. I kid you not, that just yesterday, I passed a girl saying that she bet that Gerald and the woman were secret lovers and that Terrence was actually their child and that they were running away together, blah, 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 blah. Probably to somewhere cliche, too, like Mexico.
Hey, you never know.
Gross. Go write your weird fan fiction somewhere else.
What kind of conspiracies?
Let's see. The most popular ones that come to mind have to do with aliens, the government, or cults. Standard conspiracy go-tos.
The government?
I've heard a few different versions of this one. But I think the main theory revolves around how Gerald and the unknown woman seem to both do a lot of researching and reading in their spare time. So maybe they learned something about some politicians that they shouldn't have, and both committed suicide by being shot in the back of the head. People who talk about this seem to conveniently avoid explaining how a high schooler could get on the wrong side of the national government, though.
Do you think there could be any truth to these theories?
What do you think?
Did you know any of the people personally? Or at least met any of them before?
Yes, I spend a lot of alone time with a 15-year-old boy. For real, though. I have met Gerald before, but that's it.
What do you remember about him?
Not much, except that he was nice. Got me a good deal on textbooks this year.
Does your apartment have framed eye patterns on the wall?
No. Does your apartment have framed eye patterns on the wall?
Yeah, they're literally attached, too.
Huh. This place never ceases to amaze.
A chunk of ceiling almost fell on me while I was sleeping.
Congratulations, you've been initiated. My first thing happened when I was going to unplug something and ripped the entire outlet out of the wall instead. Could be worse, though. A guy who used to live here was washing his hands in the bathroom one time, and his entire sink fell off the wall.
I'll let you get back to your work. Thanks for talking.
Don't get used to it. Oh, my name is Stacy Leith. Just in case you need to know or something.
Need something?
So it sounds like the woman who went missing the week Gerald did was a real book lover. Do you remember ever seeing anyone with her description come into the shop?
Oh, yeah. Thanks for reminding me. I was going to bring that up. She was actually kind of a regular. She'd come in once every few months or so. When I heard her description, it took a second, but then it hit me.
Interesting. Do you think she and Gerald knew each other?
I doubt it. She was in and out pretty quick. They didn't really interact much at the counter unless I missed it.
When was the last time she was in here?
The last time I personally saw her was about 2 months ago. Although, that doesn't mean she hasn't been here since. Like I said before, this place can get pretty busy.
Did you ever notice what books she was buying?
I can't really see what the customers are buying from here. And she's never asked me to help her find anything, so no guesses there. The only association I'm making in my head is her carrying a book about... math? Or was it trees? No idea. Ignore me.
Thanks for your help. This woman doesn't leave much of a trail behind her, does she?
Doesn't seem like it. I'll let you know if I can think of anything else about her.
I'd like to learn more about Carlisle. Do you have any suggestions for that?
I thought you were here to solve a case, not to sign up for generic American Towns 101.
You never know what could end up being useful.
If you're hell-bent on spending your time dusting off old records, Gerald likes to collect vintage local newspapers. That'd be the place to start. Here's a key to the back room of the shop. There's a table by the stairs that should have what you're looking for. Oh, and a word of warning. Newspapers aren't the only thing Gerald collects. If you don't watch your step back there, you'll end up with a twisted ankle.
Thanks. How long have you lived here in Carlisle?
Essentially my whole life. When I was a kid, we moved to the northern part of the state for my dad's job, but we were only there a year and then moved right back.
Has the town changed at all since you were young?
It sure felt like it got smaller as I grew up, but no, not really. Other cities nearby have expanded. Buildings replaced with taller buildings, but not here. All the expansion we got was a few new vape shops.
Thanks for talking.
Never a problem.
Huh. Condemned. Scheduled for demolition? I need a coin. I guess it doesn't work. Looks like it's missing batteries. This must be Gerald's apartment. Found what I needed in the back. Thanks for the key. Gerald has quite the collection of objects.
That's what decades of travel souvenirs looks like. A room in need of a yard sale. Gerald described his stuff as a collection of memories. He said it was there for if he ever started to forget.
I bet everything back there has a good story behind it.
Maybe not everything. There's a lot of junk masquerading as something that could be useful someday.
Do you know anything about the spooky animatronic back there?
Only that it's Gerald's pride and joy. He'll tell you how he was at the big carnival blowout sale extravaganza and couldn't pass up an amazing deal. If you ask me, $300 is $300 too expensive for a broken carnival game.
What does he find so appealing about it?
The fact that we're talking about it right now, it's a conversation piece. And according to him, it has lots of fun prizes. As soon as he got it working, he kept nagging me to play it. He acted like you could win the secrets of the universe or something. I've never tried it.
The secrets of the universe, huh? If Gerald really thought it was so interesting, I should go check it out. Can you tell me more about Gerald's travels? It seems like he's really been around.
He was never clear on the timeline, but he would mention different countries here and there. I also wonder if he served when he was younger, which is one way to see the world.
Did he ever share any stories?
Here's one. While he was in Greece, he said he was walking down the street and suddenly gets hit on the forehead by a little pebble. Or so he thinks. He looks down and at his feet is a tooth. A human tooth!
Weird.
He finds out much later that in Greece it's a common tradition for kids to throw lost baby teeth onto rooftops. Why, nobody knows.
I'd pick the tooth fairy personally. Thanks for talking.
Never a problem.
Oh, it's you. Penelope, right? I wanted to apologize for how I acted before. I know he's just a kid. I was way out of line.
Apology accepted. I mean, I get that it's a lot easier to notice your mistakes in retrospect.
Oh, thank you. That's a huge weight off my chest. I usually prefer keeping the number of people who think I'm human garbage to a minimum.
You keeping count or something?
When I'm feeling especially confident, I like to think I'm in the single digits.
Do you have some time to answer a few questions?
I don't know. As you can see, this place is flooded with generous patrons requesting my attention and handing me money. But I'll probably be able to pencil you in.
What's your take on these 3 people disappearing?
Take? I don't really have one. I know it's the hot topic of the week, but I haven't really been following the story. I'd probably be more invested if I lived in Carlisle.
Oh, you don't live here?
I live in New Haven. Hop on I-95 and it's a 45-minute drive across the coastline. I get that some people are into small towns, but if I had to pick, I'd prefer to have a skyscraper or 2 around. For the vibe.
Why isn't your gallery closer to where you live?
The art gallery conducive warehouse market is kind of limited. But the drive isn't that bad. The GPS says 50 minutes, but with some expert driving techniques, I can get here in 35. 32 is my current record. Just remember, speed limit is only a suggestion as long as you don't get caught.
Uh-huh. Are you excited for your cameo in the next Driver's Ed crash video?
Rule 1, don't get caught. Rule 2, don't crash. Easy.
Describe your schedule this past week.
Mostly the same as always, except, the visit with the children from the Black Lagoon. Get up at 9-ish, drive over here, open at 10. Hang around, answering questions from visitors and talking shop with art dealers. At 6, close it all up, drive home. Go to some local place for dinner. Every day of the week I try to eat at a different restaurant. Anything but Mexican. I cannot handle spicy food. Then, meet up with friends, and we'll go to a bar or a club or something. If we're feeling tame, maybe chill at the beach or cliffs. If I get back to my apartment before 3 a.m., it's been a bad night.
Eating at a restaurant every day sounds expensive.
You think so? I've never really thought about it. All I know is that grocery shopping takes time and cooking takes effort. So, this works for me. And I like to support local businesses.
Wow, what a hero. Have you had any interactions with either of the other 2 missing people?
Who were the other ones again?
Gerald Cook, in his late 60s, white, owner of a bookshop on Main Street. And a woman that they don't have a name for yet, in her 40s, Asian Indian, seemed interested in history.
No, I don't think so. Although the description of the woman feels kind of familiar. Or not, that could match tons of people.
Well, if you have an epiphany at some point, let me know. Would it be okay if I looked around?
Sure, if you have any questions about any pieces in particular, just ask.
What happened to this painting?
When I opened up one morning a few weeks ago, it was gone.
Do you think it was stolen?
I guess. It was one of my best works. The thief has good taste.
What was it a painting of?
One of the cliffs overlooking the ocean not too far from here. I don't normally paint such concrete subjects, but it was a really nice spot. I hope the painting turns back up.
I feel strangely violated. This painting has hinges. Not while Colin is here. Got it.
Nice. Decent work. That's one less assignment to deal with. Whew.
Now, what do you want?
Did you know that this apartment was supposed to be demolished in the 60s?
Should I be surprised?
There was a big collapse, and a bunch of people were hurt. The city condemned the building, but I don't know what happened after that.
Bureaucracy at its finest. Building is falling apart, people are in danger. Just throw that demolition order in that big pile of paperwork over there, and maybe we'll get to it 70 years later.
I don't know. It's not like this is LA with thousands of buildings to keep track of. Seems hard to overlook. Do you know who owns this building? The city?
Who knows? But whoever it is really wants to fix the place up.
Yeah, I noticed the construction materials and fresh paint.
They're trying their darndest to get this turd polished. What I'm worried about is them classing this place up and right out of my price range. They already raised the rent last year. I have a love-hate kind of thing going on with living here. On one hand, it's a crumbling pile of mold, but on the other hand, it's so fun to complain about.
Do you have to live here?
Yes, I do. It's the only apartment I can afford close enough to school. Penelope, I'm going to guess you've never been homeless. This is luxury in comparison.
Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry to hear you went through that.
Don't be. It was brief and happened years ago. Keeps me motivated to finish my master's.
Well, if you ever need anything...
I'm fine now, drop it.
Where do you go to school?
The National Academy of What's It to You?
Ha ha. I'm just curious.
Typical. I go to North Oakford University. Go Redbuds! Yes, the school mascot is a tree.
What are you studying?
Engineering. Architectural. I have a bachelor's already, but getting a master's should really set my future up on the right path. It's a pretty intense program, but no pain, no gain, right?
Do you like it there?
I'm not there for the social scene or the extracurriculars, if that's what you're asking. I like that I can show up for classes, get some cash working part-time at the cafeteria, and leave. The sooner I get back here, the sooner I can get going on schoolwork and crying.
Oh, maybe you could let yourself have a little fun.
Ew, no. I'm not some 18-year-old freshman who has no idea what they're doing in life and just wants to get drunk with strangers. I'm literally a grown woman with work to do.
I meant, like, go to a football game or something.
Oh. Sounds boring.
Have you been to Novel Books?
Once or twice. I got a tip from someone at school to order textbooks through there, because the owner gets good deals.
What was it like?
The deals? Great, actually. I didn't have to sign a contract to sell the rights to my firstborn child, unlike the school bookstore.
I meant the store.
Oh, it would have been nice if it was less crowded. Too many people there for my taste.
Can you describe in detail your interactions with Gerald Cook?
He was friendly, talkative. When he gave me my books, he seemed really curious about my schooling. He said if I ever wanted to talk more about it, let him know. I never really took him up on that.
Gerald really is a man of many interests.
Sure seems like it.
Do you remember seeing a middle-aged guy with a prosthetic arm?
No. It was kind of crowded, though, so who knows?
Have you ever been to the art gallery Bold Depictions?
No. I don't think I've ever set foot in an art gallery or museum in my entire life. Except maybe to use their bathroom.
Not really an art person?
I can appreciate talent as much as the next guy. But to me, most art just looks like tax evasion.
You don't have a favorite style of art or anything?
You know what? I admire good design. I know it's not art exactly, but one of my professors describes design as a beautiful solution. I like seeing problems solved in a clever and pretty way. Which is exactly why my major is what it is.
Have you ever heard of the name Colin Ellison?
Yeah, actually, I think I have. Some businessman type guy, I think?
That's a generous way to put it. Do you remember anything else about the name?
I feel like I heard it on the news a few years ago. I can't remember any details.
If you have any sudden revelations about Mr. Ellison, let me know.
Aw, does somebody have a crush?
Thanks for making me throw up in my mouth. No, he's just a very suspicious individual at the moment. I did tell you I'm a detective, right?
Oh, yeah. I keep forgetting that. Probably because all I've seen you do is chat up your random neighbor. Hey, Penelope? Has anyone ever told you that you ask so many questions? It's insane, really.
Branham speaking.
Hi, John Branham? My name is Penelope Pendrick. I enjoyed your chapter on Carlisle in small towns of Connecticut.
Ah, Carlisle, the gift on the cliff, or the boar on the shore, depending on who you ask. I'm pleased to hear you found my text edifying, Miss Pendrick.
It's amazing how old the town is. Unofficially.
It's something our West Coast countrymates will never get to appreciate, with their additions as states being between 60 and 100 years after the birth of the nation. Although one could argue that certain cities, like San Diego, for instance, have a long unofficial history as well, with the ownership of the Spaniards and before 1542, the Kumeyaay people. But I digress.
Lately, I've been looking for some more background on Carlisle. Would you happen to have a few minutes to answer some of my questions?
Absolutely. Anything for an inquiring mind.
The part that stood out most to me in the chapter was about artist M.C. Escher. Is there anything more you can tell me about his time here?
I always find it amusing how few Carlisleans know about this fascinating tidbit of information. It's unclear if Escher worked on any pieces during that time, but it's unlikely due to his health.
Do you think Escher made an impact on the town?
Yes and no. Carlisle was merely an unintentional pass-through on his way to more important cities. There are newspapers from that time and region stating that he had to cancel his lectures and was laid up in the area, suggesting that there would have been enough public knowledge to cause interest and speculation among townsfolk. But as I mentioned, this knowledge faded out over the decades, so lasting impact, I would say not.
Do you know anything about the family that housed him while he was here?
I know that they must have been genuinely good-hearted people, because they certainly didn't take him in for the publicity. During my research for the chapter, I was hoping to find more on these elusive people, but newspapers and reports all describe Escher staying at an undisclosed location, out of respect for the family and to ensure he had a peaceful recovery.
It ended up being a dead end.
At the time, yes, but to be honest, I gave up the search quickly. While it would have been a nice little addition to the chapter, I had plenty to include as it was.
This might be asking too much, but is there a chance you could send me some of these newspapers you reference, so I could do a little of my own digging?
You know what? I'll do you one better. You must be busy, because most people are. So when I have some free time, I'll reopen the topic. Oh, I haven't had a date with a microfish for some time now. Talking about this subject has reawakened my curiosity.
Oh, that would be amazing. Thank you, Mr. Branham.
I'm happy to help. And please, call me Branham. Mr. Branham was my father's name. Although, he's been dead for 10 years now, so I likely inherited the copyright.
What else do you know about Escher's life?
A warning in advance, this is a subject for which I only have approximate knowledge. Let's see. I know that he was born in the late 1800s in the Netherlands. I believe he studied architecture for a few years before switching to graphic design. Oh, here's a fun fact. Escher had no mathematical background whatsoever, but his artwork is so undeniably mathematical that it attracted the attention of Roger Penrose, a famed mathematician. You might have heard the name Penrose in regards to his work with the impossible triangle.
Are there any places around town that are notoriously dangerous?
You'd have better luck asking a local on that one. I don't live in the area, so I don't have anything to add in that department.
You don't live here? But you seem so knowledgeable.
Well, I don't live in Adolf Hitler's basement, yet I know a fair bit about World War II.
Got me there. Is there anything else notable about Carlisle that isn't included in the chapter?
I could go into detail about the politics of the early settlements, but in terms of more recent history, it depends on what you consider notable.
Well, what do you consider notable?
Let's see. Here's one. In the 1970s, South Point Lighthouse, one of the older lighthouses in the U.S., was sabotaged. This caused quite a few boating accidents and a couple deaths. It was discovered that Greenpeace wannabes had painted the spotlight green to protest overfishing. If I recall, a few were successfully jailed for manslaughter.
Wow, that's crazy. Any more stories?
Here's a wild one. There was a mayor in the 80s who refused to make television appearances himself, was a bit camera shy. Instead, he had his dog sit in for him during TV interviews and would just speak over a speaker system. Mayor Rufus. Yeah.
And people say this town is boring. I think that covers everything. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Yes, and thank you for giving me the chance to listen to my own voice. Call me egocentric, but it is one of my guilty pleasures. When I track down this mystery family, I'll give you a call. Good luck on your research, Miss Pendrick.
Oh, one last thing. Do you remember receiving a phone call from someone named Gerald Cook?
The name doesn't ring a bell.
Okay, thanks anyway. Talk to you later. I need a coin. That doesn't work. What did I just read? That doesn't work. Would you mind if I asked you some more questions?
Ask away.
Have you been to the art gallery on Ocala Street?
Art gallery? There's a dentist's office on that street.
I'll take that as a no, then. Does this area have any legends or boogeymen?
Across the entirety of New England, you'll find people claiming to see puritanical ghosts or spirits of angry witches. We're not special. There was a guy around when I was a kid who would communicate with the early settlers. For a nickel. I wasn't allowed to talk to him.
What book are you reading?
The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. Ever read it?
Yes, I read it a few years back.
Let me pick your brain then. The painter of Dorian's portrait, Basil Hallward. What would you say he represents?
The societal expectations upon Dorian.
No, I don't think that's it. There wasn't much allusion to that in the book. Anyways, thanks for humoring me. It's hard to pass up an opportunity to talk literature.
Did Gerald ever mention artist M.C. Escher? I saw some of Gerald's notes in a book about Carlyle that mentioned Escher, and he seemed intent on learning more.
Oh, he does that with everything. He's a naturally curious fellow. Don't read too much into any of the specifics.
Do you know Gerald's middle name?
I'm 95% sure it's Theodore. Is that all?
Thanks for talking.
Never a problem.
Hello?
Hi, Mrs. Davies. I just wanted to check in. There have been a few things I've been wondering about.
Yes?
How has Terrence's mood been lately?
I don't know. Teenager-y. If it's going to be a good mood, happy kind of day, or an angsty, sulky kind of day, it's all a roll of the dice.
Well, what kind of things put him in a happy mood?
Oh, a lot of things. Good weather, a new video game, weekends, plans with friends, ice cream. One thing I'll always love about that boy is his ability to find joy in the little things.
How well do you know Terrence's friends? I mean, are there any in particular that seem like bad influences?
No, not most of them. A lot of them are really sweet kids, actually. Terrence's friend, Tyler, who he's known since they were practically toddlers, was even thoughtful enough to get me a birthday gift a couple months ago. But I do worry that Terrence will start to become bored with his old friends, the good kids, and seek out more, excitement. When kids are little, life is simpler and they all share the same interests. Cars, planes, running in circles. But now, a decade later, I see Tyler going off to compete in robotics competitions and Terrence not. I wonder for the future of their friendship. I don't know. I'm just going off on a tangent. Basically, none of his friends that I know would pressure him to do anything like this.
Thanks for talking, Mrs. Davies. We're working hard on the case.
You can call me Eileen. Let me know if you need anything.
Carlisle Police. Sergeant Russell speaking.
Hi, Sergeant. I discovered something big.
What have you got?
Remember our resident child hater, Colin Ellison? I may have found a way into his gallery while he wasn't around and took a look through some of his things. I came across a series of fake obituaries written by Colin, describing the deaths of some of his critics. One of those critics being Gerald Cook.
Excellent work. I'm giving you a hypothetical slap on the wrist for entering private property. But I'm also giving you a hypothetical wink wink. Because if you're getting results, nobody needs to know. Can you tell me more about this obituary?
Colin took something Gerald said very personally and really lashed out in his writing. The thing that stood out most to me was Gerald's death date was marked as last month.
So Mr. Ellison had recent altercations with two of our victims now?
Yes. And since we're looking for proof of foul play, I found what looks to be a key card to an apartment.
Say no more. I'll search the database and see if I can locate his address.
Thanks, Sergeant. I'll keep it on the down low. Oh, one more thing. Can you also look up the names Michael Igo from New Haven and Juniper Bennett from New York City? Just to check that they're alive.
I'll add them to the list and give you a call back if I find anything out. Keep doing what you're doing, Penelope.
That was very scary. I thought for sure I'd locked the door last night. Hello?
Miss Pendrick, Branham here. Oh, I'm happy to have caught you, and you'll be happy to have been caught, I assure you.
Oh, hi, Branham. Did you find anything out?
312 Hillcrest Heights Road, Carlisle, Connecticut. This is the address of the house owned by the Dutch family, who was connected with Escher in the 60s.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
There were no present-day names attached, unfortunately, but this will be a place to start. Before you go traipsing over there, whistling and with your hopes all high, remember that this was 50 years ago. The house could have changed owners multiple times in those decades, and very likely did.
Oh, I understand. No whistling for me just yet.
I wish you luck in the search for intriguing pieces of Connecticut history, Miss Pendrick. And please never hesitate to call.
What's up?
Have you ever seen anyone sketchy around the apartments?
Once in a while, a peaceful meth head will wander through because the building looks abandoned. But they don't usually hang around once they realize they can't get into any of the rooms.
You've never dealt with any burglars or break-ins?
Did you get broken into?
No. It just seems like something that would happen here.
Not in my experience, personally. People who want to steal stuff are normally looking for bigger fish.
You're an engineer, right? Would you know how to fix an old machine?
Engineering is a very broad field, you know. What kind of old machine?
It's an animatronic type carnival game.
I have so many questions, but let's just focus on this one. How is it broken? Like, It won't turn on, it's on but won't move.
It won't turn on. It eats your nickel and then doesn't do anything.
Assuming there's nothing wrong with the power cord, your best bet would be to check the back for some kind of panel. If you can look inside, the problem will be much clearer.
I was wondering, what do you know about the town of Carlisle? Any history? Anything unique? Anything dangerous?
It's a town. It's an old town. The only unique thing about it is that it's not dangerous at all.
So there's nothing you've heard about the town's past that stands out? Like famous battles that took place here, cool landmarks, famous guests?
George Washington was here. Probably. He got around. Ugh, I know literally nothing about this town, and have no desire to change that.
Okay. I'm just looking for anything local that could cause 3 people to disappear. Bye.
Don't drink the tap water.
Any news?
Nothing yet. Do you know if Gerald collects art?
If it's something that can be collected, then assume yes he does.
I mean, does he seek out specific pieces?
I don't know. Sorry.
Did Gerald ever mention the name Colin Ellison?
That does ring a bell. Yes, he did. A month-ish ago. Gerald seemed slightly irked and said that he had a bad experience with this unpleasant young man.
Did he say what about?
No, but unpleasant is just about the nastiest thing Gerald could call someone, so it probably wasn't anything good.
Thanks for talking.
Never a problem.
I need something for this. Got it. Don't know what I expected. So, I was in the back and saw an absolutely huge, terrifying spider.
Let me guess. You want me to go kill it?
Please, Mitchell. You would be a true hero. It was on the table by the newspapers.
And I thought you were a strong, independent woman who doesn't need a man.
We all have our weaknesses. Today I live for nothing and have love for no one. Did you kill it?
Yes, I snuffed out a scary plastic spider. You should feel safe now.
Plastic?
Plastic. You were scared of a toy.
Oops. It looked convincing from a distance. Not like I was going to get closer to double check. What made you choose to work in the insurance business?
No one chooses to work in the insurance business. It's just a means to pay the bills.
Have you ever been married?
No. What's any of this have to do with the case? You're not looking for me.
Just wanted some background. Thanks for talking.
Never a problem.
This is fresh. Very fresh. HVDB. Oh, this is bad.
Hi, Penelope. How's the case coming along?
Slowly. We're gathering bits and pieces of information here and there, but we're still waiting for that one big lead to rear its head.
Ugh, I wouldn't even know where to begin with detective work.
Half of it is dumb luck. So, I was wondering. Being a painter must be a difficult profession, having to put your work out there for the world to see. How do you manage the stress?
One thing that helps me is reminding myself that critics are a sad bunch. Their entire career revolves around finding flaws and things that only exist to make the world more beautiful. Like, what kind of person is that? Stalking in the shadows, waiting to pounce and insult your color palette? I swear, they can smell fear.
Do the naysayers ever take a toll on your mental health?
Yeah, I'll admit it. Maybe if I were more of a man, I'd have thicker skin. But my only option is to punch a pillow, scream, and then pick up my paintbrushes again. And again, and again.
Why did you become an artist in the first place? Did you know it would be like this?
I knew even the most famous artists had critics, but I thought of it as a status symbol before I lived it myself. But even if I had known what it's actually like, it wouldn't have mattered to me anyway. Ever since I was really little, felt like I could see more colors and shapes than the others. At the age when kids would say that their favorite color was blue, mine was ultramarine. For fun, I would close my eyes and just watch the images form and change in my head. As I got older, I became obsessed with taking the images out of my head and putting them on paper. This way, I could share them with the world. So you see, I really had to become an artist, or I would have been letting myself down. And I have to stay an artist. Otherwise, they win.
Your past self must be proud of your success. Running your own gallery and all.
Oh, yeah. It was a lot of work, but it was worth it to get where I am today.
What do you do when you're not here?
After work, I'm usually out on the town with friends. Or if I'm feeling inspired, I'll go home and paint. Every couple of months, I'll travel to art shows or to meet up with business acquaintances.
Do you ever spend time in Carlisle?
Carlisle? For all those nights I'm craving a healthy dose of shuffleboard?
Not really your speed.
You'd have to slap a jet engine on this place for it to be my speed.
Do you do commissions or sell work at all?
I don't do as many commissions as I used to, but I'll still take on gigs from time to time. My main source of income is from selling at shows or from the gallery. I cycle most pieces I hang in here a few times a year to give people incentive to come around again and take a look.
How long have these current paintings been on display?
Maybe about a month?
Thanks for talking.
No problem.
Carlisle Police. Sergeant Russell speaking.
Hi, Sarge. I just wanted to call in and let you know that someone broke into my room last night while I was sleeping.
What? Are you alright?
I'm okay, just rattled. They didn't hurt me. They ran as soon as they noticed I was awake.
Well, that's a relief. Can you describe the intruder? Any details at all?
Not really. It was dark and it all happened so fast. They were wearing all black and a face mask. But height, male or female, age, I don't even have a guess.
Understandable. Starting today, I'm gonna send someone out to periodically patrol the building overnight. Zimmerman, you just volunteered yourself. This will not happen again. The last thing we want is for you to be in danger.
Thanks, Sergeant Russell. That does make me feel a bit better.
Penelope, keep your wits about you and stay safe out there. Always call immediately if something doesn't sit right.
Will do. Thanks for talking.
Keep us updated.